Tim, welcome to our channel and thanks for logging on. Today we're discussing the Heuer Carrera Calibre 6. You can see this 38mm automatic winding steel sports watch and purchase it on our website. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you enjoy these videos, and please click on the card in the upper right hand corner of the screen at any time during this video to see our full listing for this watch with additional high resolution images, great for your desktop, accessories included, and of course complete pricing details. Now on my wrist, 6 1/3 inches, 16 centimeters in circumference, this watch is incredibly well proportioned. It has the gorgeous and distinctive thrusting square cut lugs from the original 1963 Carrera. That's what ties this watch to that seminal Heuer model, not tag back then. Nevertheless, it's managed to endure to the present day simply because the proportions of the lugs, the shape of the lugs, and their severity in relation to the sensuous curve of the bezel have simply made the shape of the Carrera something that captures the imagination and transcends generations. Now, the watch does feature a 38mm case, so if you are a traditionalist, I'll be totally precise, it's a 38.5mm case, so it's beautifully sized for those who rebel against the modern oversized sports watch phenomenon. 38.5, it's also wonderfully thin. The watch is only 12.5mm thick, and you'll note that with a sloped bezel and a sloped sapphire, a tight sleeve can easily get a running start up and over the flank of this case. It's very easy to wear with a suit. Now from lug to lug, it's also compact, 46.5mm across the wrist. This one is perfectly suited for those who, like myself, are slight of forearm. And I would say that the way it fits on me, with plenty of shoulder room to spare, you can see how the bracelet flares out so it's nowhere near the edge of my wrist. I would say you could probably wear this watch on a wrist down to 13.5 centimeters in circumference, provided your wrist is more oval than narrow in cross-section, slightly flat across the top. Now, the bracelet is a beautiful piece. It is tapered, as you'll note. As it moves away from the case, the links do have a nice diminishing step to them. There's a nice differential finish employed with polished highlights. It's not dominated by polish, it's used as an accent, like jewelry, and the dominant finish being satin or brushed finish on the shoulders and center. The clasp is very solid. You can see a single swing arm, single deployant design. When it's closed, it has the Heuer logo and a striated satin finish on it and a double trigger deployant action. So when you close it, it does require positive release, not friction fit, not clamshell. This is the better way to make a clasp. Lower in profile, and although a little bit more complicated than a clamshell, so much more satisfying to use and very secure when closed. You'll also note it is remarkably low in profile, so for those of you who are prone to desk diving, it's sort of out of the line of fire. So, designed for long-wearing durability in addition to handsome wearing. You'll also note that the watch features a dominant dial. Look at the bezel of this watch. It's high polished, but it's almost like a silver halo, so minimal that you can barely even see it when you're looking at the watch from head on. You'll note that the dial is dominated by 3 features. First, stylized and blued Arabic numerals for the hours. Second, an elaborate guilloche type pattern. I do believe this is stamped guilloche at this price range, but it beautifully emulates engine-turned guilloche, right down to the undulations as they circle the center and the rayon pattern that the undulations create collectively. And finally, there is the dominant anchor of the dial, which is at 6 o'clock, both a small seconds sunken in with a date aperture featuring a stepped window for a more progressive transition from the dial base down to the date disc. Now the watch does feature both hacking, which I'll demonstrate now. So you pull the crown and you stop the balance, stopping the seconds. Do that at 60 and you can now synchronize precisely to a known accurate reference time like an atomic clock. And of course, the date does feature a quick set, so should the watch run down or encounter an irregular length month, you can easily cycle to the current date and correct it. You'll also note a nicely sloped chaptering 0 to 60 outboard. This is convenient for counting off minutes more precisely, and it also provides a nice visual transition from the height of the bezel to the plane of the dial. I should mention that all of the individual numerals are applied, not printed on. The case is nicely finished, principally in high polish, with a little bit of a satin finish contrast at the ends of the bracelet, but the dominant polish of the case is precisely that, high polish. So it makes the most of its size. In spite of being very traditional and moderate in size, it has a very pronounced, striking, and handsome visual signature. It's not an anonymous watch in spite of its simplicity and size. On the case back, you can see what's known as the Heuer Calibre 6. Protected within a case that endows it with 100 meters of water resistance, it is a full-function sports watch in that sense. You're good to go for swimming or shallow diving. It beats at 4 hertz, automatic winding, bidirectional with approximately a 42-hour power reserve. As I mentioned, it does have a quick set function for the date and hacking for the seconds, and it is based on the tried-true, ultra-thin, and ultra-tough ETA 2892A2 caliber. You can see this tag Heuer Carrera Calibre 6, stainless steel, 38.5 millimeters, automatic winding, very handsome, traditionally inspired with modern fit, finish, and materials, and you can buy it on our website.